Hey, how are you guys? It is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. Now, in this video, I'm going to be talking about how to hire a sales rep. Everything from A to Z, internal, external, what's the right time, what does that person look like, what to look for in that person. I'm leaving no stone unturned. This is going to be a bit of a longer video because I am covering so much inside of this one video. I was going to make this like a 5-part series, but I just didn't think it was really worth it. Before I get into it, I do want to mention 2 quick things. Number 1, masterclass always down in the links below. 5 ways to make significantly more money with your MSP. And 2, if you are looking for all of the resources that I've mentioned in the past, they are available in 2 locations. One is down in the video description. If you scroll down, you'll see a whole list of areas of helpful videos, helpful worksheets. You can go grab everything there. The second place is growth-generators.com. I am constantly adding stuff to it. Sometimes I may miss a YouTube video because I can't like mass update them all at the same time. So that's a great way to go grab any of the new worksheets that I've mentioned, just so it's in a centrally located place. Once again, growth-generators.com. Now, before I get into the actual video, I do want to just mention my past experience because I think it's really, really important to know where I came from. And the advice that you're getting is actually pretty sound advice. So I started with an MSP a handful of years ago. I took them from about $2 million to about $6 million in business annually. The cool part about that, in about 2 years, by the way, the cool part about that is I was able to do everything in sales, from internal, hey, I need a new computer, to external, hunting out, up to whale-sized clients, multi-$1,000 MRR deals, and everything in between. On top of that, I was able to get people hired and help with the interview process in that regard as well. So I have a ton of experience in this area. This is my favorite area to get involved in. The first thing you have to do is identify the needs of the business. This is the most important thing. And there's a lot of different areas that this could be in. You might need an external rep, somebody that is going to go out and hunt for new business. Clients fall in between, could be like a little chipmunk, super small deal, all the way up to a whale where it could be you're like, I cannot believe I'm going to close this deal. If I close it, my company is going to be able to grow exponentially. Those are whale-sized clients. You got deer in there, and I know that not everybody's into hunting, but you just have to, this is what salespeople do. This is how they think. There's also farmers that consistently try to grow their existing clients. So that could be finding different ways that they can upsell different areas. Maybe that's a new computer, new switches, new hardware, all of that. Maybe they're just maybe you need an inbound person who just needs to pick up the phone and say, hey, you guys need a new computer? Okay, this is what you need. This is what the person's doing, and selling them that way. And also you have to think about what you actually need. In a lot of cases, the MSP business owner wants to be the one that does the sale. I strongly disagree with that, but I get it. Not everybody wants to agree, and that's okay. When you are doing the sale and you're the business owner, you're much more likely to give in on a deal, to flex the numbers a little bit. Having an outside salesperson, you could be very concrete with them, and putting that barrier in between you and the customer helps you actually make more money. But understanding where you're at, you might realize that, hey, you're a killer salesperson and service is lacking because of you. That's okay. That should just be a clear indicator. You need to hire more people in service versus hiring a salesperson. Or you might realize that you're the opposite. You're a service ninja, and the company would do so much better if you can have somebody out there hunting for new business. This is the difference between the outside, inside, and what role that they actually need to fill. So figure out first what you actually need before you even consider hiring somebody, because sometimes that internal reflection, while it may be difficult, is sometimes the most important thing that you can do. Now, number 2 is, what do you actually want to look for in that person? Now, there's always going to be tons of information on this about like who you should look for and who you shouldn't look for. In my opinion, there's 2 things to consider. Do you hire externally, somebody that you're bringing completely new into your business, or do you hire internally? Possibly a salesperson, or a service person, bring them into sales. Now, I fell in the group of a service person that got brought into sales. And some of the clear indicators of that is somebody that likes to talk to people, picks up on numbers pretty quickly. They're going out and doing their job on a regular basis. They may need to go sell a hard drive to somebody, and they're going out. They happen to see the sheet or the invoice of that, and they know for the next time, or they're talking to the business owner and they're just naturally selling other products and services to those people. That is going to be a clear indicator that you might have a real good salesperson already in your company, and all they need is a bit of training. And I'm going to get into that. If you're looking for somebody to hire outside of it, there are a couple things that you want to look for. If you look at this person, you're like, this is a rock star resume, get ready to pay. Really good salespeople know their worth. And if they already have experience in the industry, they're going to be charging significantly more money for their work because they know that they can immediately start to add way more revenue to the company, and that makes them just more valuable. So because of the value that they provide, they expect to get paid on it. This is really, really important. Other areas to look for is, especially if you're looking for somebody new, bartenders are really, really good people. They have good people skills. They have the ability to talk to just about anybody, and having them spend a little bit of time behind the service desk and getting used to the clients, what the clients are asking, is actually really not a bad idea. You also have to figure out too, if they're a good fit as far as company culture. Company culture is really important. Do they get along with other people? When you bring them in and you think that you found a good hire, or have them go through multiple interviews or hang out for the day, have them spend 8 hours at your office. Yeah, you're going to lose a day of productivity for you as the business owner, but seeing how they interact with other people in the office is worth its weight in gold. Hiring a wrong salesperson could be so expensive, and they could bleed you dry because it might take 3, 6, 9 months for a deal to close. The MSP sales world, you have pretty long sales cycles, and you're constantly looking for more deals to keep that pipeline full. But even still, even with a full pipeline, that sales process does take a while. There's no sugarcoating that. But you want to see if they're a good fit. Do they get along with everybody else? And also, what could they bring to the table that you would really like to see? Maybe they just have really good experience. Maybe they have a special skill set that you might want to check in on and see if you can leverage. These are all different questions that you need to start asking that person to see what other additional benefits they come from. And once again, if you're like, hey, I found this perfect salesperson, get ready to start coughing up 6 figures. Because if they know how good they actually are and what they can bring to the table, they are not going to be cheap. And they may or may not do an amazing job for your business. Just because they're a good salesperson doesn't mean they're going to be a great salesperson for your business. It is a gamble. You're never going to find the perfect one on the first shot. Now, number 3 is hiring inside versus outside. I've already covered whether or not you should hire somebody off the service desk. If they're just a naturally good talker, good fit, you could see them being really, really good in that role, that's fantastic. But you might also have to realize and look at your talent pool. Are any of those people that kind of person? Are they just naturally talking to clients? Are they naturally selling things? Do they remember the costs of hard drives? I just have this on my desk still, so for anyone that's been following along for a while, it has been installed, by the way. But they just know these things. Oh, they know a UPS is going to be $85 plus, installation or whatever it is that you decide to sell. They know these numbers off the top of their head, and they're usually pretty good at reciting them. And they feel comfortable talking to key decision makers and those kinds of people in that organization. If you have that, great. If you don't have that, you might have to hire outside, but it all depends on the size of your business. Number 4 is going to be, what do they bring to the table? Once again, I've kind of already covered this. But some salespeople bring a ton of skills, and you might even find somebody that you're like, I don't think that this person is going to be a good salesperson, but I feel like they're just a really good fit for the business. They seem to have a really good thirst and hunger for the service knowledge. They seem to be really good at talking to people, and they might not have any former sales training. That's okay. Maybe they're open to becoming a salesperson. I myself had no sales training other than being a bartender before I went into my role. And I became an incredible salesperson. So just because they're not currently doesn't mean they can't be. That is really, really important. Which brings me to number 5, that education and training. They should have some kind of an interest in technology. They might have a really nice home-built computer. They might have a little dev environment at their house. They might have built custom computers. They might have something going on that should be a clear indicator that they're a technology person. That salesperson has to be a technology person. But what other education and training do they have or do they not have, and where can they get it? Meaning, do they have any college education? Do they have any training in other areas that might be able to kind of fit into the MSP world? But if they don't, or they don't have any sales training at all, free shout out to myself. There is the MSP Sales Pro Blueprint down in the links below for MSP business owners and MSP salespeople to become significantly better at MSP sales. I went through sales training, but I took it even further. I went through so many online classes. I spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours with other salespeople learning what they did, what they didn't do. and modified and adjusted it for myself to be super, super successful. That is a trait that you might want to look for, but also something that you should consider. I boiled all that down and put that into my online course down in the links below. But think about what training and certifications are really important. I went to school for computer programming with an emphasis in computer science, or computer science with an emphasis in computer programming. But not everybody's going to have that degree. Most of my coworkers, when I started behind the service desk, all had their A+ certification. Think about what's really important to you. I never got my A+ certification. I still don't have it. But I know quite a bit about computers and all of the interchangeable areas that need to be known about. That A+ is the first level in that training. And sure enough, that person may not ever get it. And that's okay, as long as they understand the basics of technology. You got to remember, your customers and your target customers aren't PhDs in computer science. They just know enough to run their business, and they need to be able to have a conversation with somebody that knows the technology end without getting too deep into it to eventually sell them. So number 6 is going to be sales training essentials. You should have a sales process ready to go for that salesperson. If you're expecting that salesperson to bring in some kind of format or not even training, but format or process or system, you're probably going to end up paying them a little bit of extra money, because building that for your specific MSP, while it's pretty much similar across the board, you might have little quirks, little changes that you want to have. You might want to look over the proposal. They need to build that into the funnel that they're actually going through. And you also need to have a system that you can track these sales. I've already mentioned Go High Level. There's a link down below, my affiliate link, for the platform. It's a fantastic sales platform. It's a customer relationship manager, which you should absolutely have if you have a salesperson. Any other CRM that is specifically designed for MSPs is probably not going to cut it. And what I mean by that, I mean anything from ConnectWise to Atera to Ninja One, any of these. They're fantastic products for MSPs, but they're not a CRM specifically designed to help salespeople succeed. Go High Level is the one that I love and use. You have HubSpot, you have Salesforce, you have Pipedrive, you have Zoho, you have Act, you have Keep. All of these are fantastic CRMs, but you need to use a CRM adjacent to your RMM or PSA tool. They're just not the same things, and they're not going to help the salesperson or your company grow in that regard. They need to be able to put in line items. They need to be able to build out proposals with like PandaDoc and have these incredible opportunities to actually succeed. So having those tools at the ready is vitally, vitally important. And other areas, prospecting worksheets. Once again, down the links below, your number sheets to see your growth and how many deals that they're closing and how many leads you're getting. All of these are super important to give that new salesperson the best opportunity to succeed. And getting good at sales takes time. Just because you hired a new person or promoted a new person, it might take 3, 6, 9 months before they're pretty decent at their job, and over a year before they're very good at their job. After me, about a year in, I could sniff a trail of, hey, this person said they might have issues with their computer. I was on the phone calling that person for a meeting, and I was closing them a couple weeks later, sometimes a week later. But as soon as somebody mentioned it to me, I knew immediately to start chasing them. Other people might not pick up on that, but it's your job and your responsibility as the business owner, hopefully, or the hiring manager for that salesperson, to coach them, to bring them in, to give them the tools to succeed. And then number 7, which is really important to me, and I'm going to cover their compensation right after that, but number 7 is having reasonable expectations. Those expectations get tied into their compensation and their incentives. Now, every MSP is going to pay different prices. Every MSP is going to pay a different salary. Every MSP is going to give a different level of comp. On average, your salesperson should make about 20 to 30% of all of the MRR that they bring in. So if they're bringing in $100,000 in MRR, they should be doing between 15 and 20, 25, maybe $30,000 a month in take-home money. If they're getting paid $400,000 annually, they should be able to, or better yet, if they're bringing in $400,000 annually to the business, they should be getting compensated around $100,000. Once again, every business is going to be different. When you're selling hardware, there's way less profit in that. But if they're selling monthly services, they should get paid out monthly, those monthly services for a determined amount of time. Only you can pick that. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, or it could be the lifetime of that client. Maybe they're also doing some account executive responsibilities where they're checking in on that client every once in a while. If that's the case, they might get paid the first month and then half of the first month every year afterwards, just to check in. How you guys doing? What do you guys need? Until you have a VCIO or something of that nature. Every business is going to be completely different in that regard. And last is a little bonus tip in here is make sure you cover your butt. NDAs are super important, number one, but non-competes are also super important. As great of a salesperson as that is, and they might make you tons and tons of money, at the end of the day, you have to CYA. Cover your butt. I'm not saying it, all right? I'm watching you. I'm not saying it. And if you've gotten to this far in the video, by the way, I hope I've earned a like button. I hope you hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell, because this video was a lot of research going into it and a lot of me reflecting on my past experiences. But cover your butt. An NDA should be the first thing. Existing clients and new clients should know that when they're talking to that salesperson isn't going to go out and talk to other people or try to get one of their friends more commission because they're not going to make as much or whatever it may be. People get crazy out there. NDA, number one, right off the bat. And they shouldn't be able to talk about their current clients to anybody. That is your business as the MSP business owner. And number two is a non-compete. If they do decide to leave, they should not be able to go steal all of your clients. Now, it is inevitable that there's going to be a client or two that falls in love with that person. Having your clients sign non-competes, part of your contract, is super important. But at some point, yes, if you do hire an amazing salesperson and they leave and go somewhere else, more than likely a couple customers are going to leave. That's okay. It's going to be between 10 and 15% usually, but it also depends on how in touch they are with that person. It's not worth pursuing it over. I understand that not everybody's going to be happy about it, but that's just the way of the world. Some salespeople are so good, their clients love them, and sometimes clients buy from people they know, like, and trust, and that might be the salesperson. And what that salesperson offers, the services, might just be, hey, we don't mind whoever you tell us to go to, we're going to go to. It is the sad truth of a salesperson, especially for one that's going to be in that industry forever and that's their career and they're not moving. They might be staying local to you. It is a concern to think about. So non-competes, NDAs are super important. Cover your butt. And that is the entire video. Like I said, a little bit longer of a video. I could keep going on and on and on with performance tracking and all this kind of stuff, but this will get you to at least a level of whether or not you need to hire somebody, if you should hire somebody, what that person's going to be, and how much they're going to be making. And you might start them low. You might say, hey, your base is going to be $30,000, $40,000 a year, and next year we're going to reevaluate. Or in 6 months, we're going to reevaluate depending on how much money you bring in or how much revenue you bring in. You might also say, hey, $40,000 is your salary. You have uncapped commissions. That's a perfectly acceptable thing too. That salesperson should also know what your team is capable of. And if you're struggling or you want more sales training, or you're like, I need sales training for me, for my salespeople or my business, feel free to reach out to us, growth-generators.com if it's for multiple people. But if it's just for you, there's a link down below to the MSP Sales Pro Blueprint. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Always appreciate you guys watching. This was a long one. Thanks for sticking it out. Like button, subscribe button, notification bell.